Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Basic Entertainment and May the 4th, Star Wars Day. Happy Star Wars Day today. Before we get into this, I would love for you guys to go ahead and like the stream. Go ahead and live chat with us. And I want to say this before we get into this because this spoiler talk is a little bit different because we're going to be on the date when the episode comes out. Spoiler warning. This is your only chance. We will be spoiling the heck out of this episode. So spoiler warning. I'm going to have to get some animation. But I'm not alone. As my co-host for this show, 16, we're going to do what, 16 episodes of this? You guys going to see me, this beautiful face right here, Ewan from mChat.
Hello, guys. I mean, we have like a lot to talk about, not only for this episode, but 16 episodes weekly. Presuming they drop every Friday. We might get 2 weeks sometimes, I don't know. But I worked it out. If it is every Friday after today, then this finishes on, I think it was the 13th of August. So
yeah.
We've got like 4 months of consistent Star Wars content. So, I'm very excited to dive into this because we have a lot to talk about. This was an extended 75-minute premiere episode. Don't expect that for every episode. It's just going to be 20 to 30 minutes from here on out. But
right.
This was like borderline feature length. It was basically what the Clone Wars film was, except this was actually good.
Yeah, that's pretty much a good way to start out. But yeah, 16 weeks. You guys gonna be seeing us a lot, of course. We might actually turn into like an angry couple, ready to get in divorce. All the twists and turns are gonna come in. But of course, this show is a special show, and then Fridays we'll continue our weekly shows here. Luke Reviews 1. Yeah, that was the working title for this episode. Hello there. May the 4th be with you both. May the 4th be with you as well. And of course, you give me a hello there. I'm gonna give you a
hello there.
I'm gonna go ahead and to whoever says anything, I'm gonna have to press that, especially today on May the 4th. I'm not the biggest fan of Clone Wars, but I did like the first episode, although I do think it was quite long. I was surprised when Kanan showed up. This did feel like Clone Wars Season 8. There are many thoughts. These are my thoughts on it. Brief thoughts on that. I need a refresh, but you know what? Let's go ahead and recap. Let's do the recap before we get into those real spoilers. That was a big punch that they threw at us in the beginning of this episode. And you want to take ahead and recap episode 1 Aftermath?
So we basically start out, if we're going like right from the start, we get the Clone Wars logo, and then it burns into Bad Batch, which we'd seen before. I think they'd put it, at the end of the trailer, or I'd seen that animation before anyway. It's been used somewhere. And then we get a recap, like Clone Wars style recap with the voice of Admiral Yularen, I think that's his name, doing, classic Clone Wars. Here's what's happening. Here's setting the scene. And then from there, we're still in the Clone Wars. We get like a separatist battle with what's the name? I think it's I cannot pronounce the name of the Jedi Master, but anyway, she's fighting against separatists with the clones. They're getting overrun. And then a Padawan comes in. Well, Padawan is none other than Caleb Doom, who is Kanan Jarrus, for those that don't know. And then he's brought in some reinforcements who end up being, the Bad Batch, of course. They do like this awesome maneuver where they tie together the double ATs and then knock one down a cliff and it pulls them all down. A lot of fun to watch that. And then, of course, we get the big moment that we kind of expected when we knew we were going to be within the Clone Wars when the episode started. Order 66 goes down once again. This is like the third time we've seen it at this point. Stell's canon. It's going to get to a point where we're just not going to care anymore. Just like, oh, there we go. Order 66
in a small span too, because we got Fallen Order, and then you got Season 7.
Yeah, actually, so we got Fall, then we've got Revenge of the Sith, Fallen Order, Clone Wars Season 7, and then now this. No idea whether we'll get any more. I hope we don't, because I don't want to go through Order 66 5 times.
It's heartbreaking.
Anyway, and then Caleb's master, of course, gets killed after Order 66 takes place. Caleb runs off because he's, afraid of being killed by the clones. The Bad Batch don't seem to be being affected, so Hunter's going after him, just trying to, calm him down, trying to say, we're not your enemy. However, Crosshair seems intent on killing him, which of course we'll get into towards the end of the episode and throughout. Caleb managed to escape. Hunter lets him go, says that he actually did kill him when he didn't. And then we go back to Kamino. Now, this is kind of where we get to touch on like the stuff, almost the aftermath of Order 66. We get the scene from Revenge of the Sith when Palpatine's giving his speech to the Senate. It's word for word, line for line, taking the dialogue straight out of it. Pretty sure it was Ian McDiarmid as well that was doing the voice. So you get that scene, which, touching on like tying to Revenge of the Sith. Clone Wars did it really well, and this series so far is doing it incredibly well as well. You got like direct connections, direct scenes, taking place at the same time and everything. Really, really great stuff. I completely lost where we are. So we're on Kamino. We actually meet a new character here as well, called Omega, who is a female clone, or at least as far as we're aware, she's a clone anyway. She's a new female character who looks very much like a clone, so presumably she is. And we later find out that she's actually a defective clone as well. No idea what her defects are. I have some theories, but we'll probably get into that in a bit. You're going to have to take her out. I'm like losing myself here.
So right after we get Tarkin puts him in a little session, danger room action. They kind of test their mind, see if these clones are ready to take on with the new empire, of course, the Galactic Empire, and they're ready for it. This team is well patched up together, and then they go on a mission. This mission, they're expecting to fight droids, as Gregor wants to fight some droids, but no, they find out the rebellion has started. And we get what character? It was a big. Was that a reveal? Was that yeah, he was in Clone Wars, but is that
He was in Clone Wars. He was in Rogue One. He's also been in Rebels.
Forrest Whitaker.
He's in Jedi Fallen Order as well, so he's like appeared in so much Star Wars canon at this point.
Yeah, and we saw him. This connection is keep on growing, and then right after they go back, they want to go get back the girl Omega and Kamino, but they get trapped up, they get stuck. And Crosshair, they do some things with his chip. Kind of, it was
enhancing it. It was already there, but it was almost like a weak signal, so made it stronger. And then, Crosshair says the Empire. Yeah, betrays it.
Gets a new suit, and we do some battles with them. And what's it called? Right after they leave off, and they need some help, so they're gonna go get some help from. Was it Clone 19? G19 or whatever?
No, it was they were going to Sector J19. That's where they go. So do you want me to touch on the theory on that first? Like
go for it.
Going into the next episode? Okay, so Sector J19, I forget what the actual name of the area is. It's got an official name for the sector. But do you remember back in, I think it was season 2 of Clone Wars, there was that episode where Rex meets that deserter clone and he's got a family and everything? Yeah, so that sector is where he is. So people are saying now, that's that character. I think he's called Cut. And minor maybe spoiler for the next episode, but I think the title for that is Cut and Run, which the character's called Cut. It kind of all lines up, and everyone's saying Rex. Initially, I was like, oh yeah, it's definitely Rex. But when you think about it, really, right, this is like Order 66 has just gone down. The Bad Batch don't know who's been affected by inhibited chips, so they would assume that Rex has, because he was a major part of the Republic. So it doesn't make sense for them to go after that, go after Rex. But I have a good feeling that Rex might actually be with Cut on that planet, because that's probably the first place he'd maybe think to go. Someone who's someone he can probably trust, because he's technically not part of the Republic anymore. And it's a good place to hide. No one apart from him actually knows about Cut, and obviously, providing this actually comes to fruition, the Bad Batch will of course know about him as well. So I have a feeling it is that character. That's probably where we're going to go. And we are getting Rex in the series, so we're going to see him at some point. But I have a feeling that he's also on that planet. So who knows? Maybe Ahsoka could be there as well. But I guess we'll just have to see next episode.
That's a great theory, Ewan. I love that, because I do remember that episode, that arc when they met that clone with the family and that planet, and they kind of had like that was a good arc. I think I might go ahead and rewatch that, but that'll be some cool connections there. And just to start out, our thoughts on the episode. I love this episode. This was a great way to start out the episode. I think the one thing that benefit this episode that benefited was Order 66. Being in that situation, the biggest turning point in Star Wars is Order 66, is when Anakin turned into the dark side, became Darth Vader. That was the biggest turning point. And of course, they're right in the middle of it. And I love the reaction from it. They're kind of course, we know they're more mutated clones, defected clones, special clones. And they're they're not really understanding what's going on. I love that confusion because I'll be confused too. If I was a clone like them, seeing, you're taking orders from Jedis, and then now the clones are disbanding on their commanders, on the Jedis, killing them. Like, what the hell is going on? All hell has broken loose, and this group manages to fit in, but they know they're in the wrong for fitting in for that. They don't want to be part of it, and I think they came to the realization when they met Forrest Whitaker in that planet, and they see the innocent people that are just trying to go by. You gotta really think about it. If you're in that situation, that is pretty scary. That an empire is rising. That you're vulnerable because the one thing that you've been leaning on is now against you, and it's not. They realize it, but I do love the whole Hunter Crosshair kind of beef that was going on in this episode. The whole thing that was going on, the tension with them was building and building. Yeah, and Crosshair, I was expecting when he was kind of like, oh, we need to follow orders, and then he said, "Good soldiers follow orders." I love that they brought that back. I was kind of expecting they would do that later on this season, but for the first episode, wow, I honestly wasn't expecting it. I thought they would save their guns later on. You got 16 episodes. They must have a lot in store, but this, of course, is like a mini movie, you want to say. So they do a good job of kind of capping off that arc, giving us our antagonist. Crosshair is going to be the guy who's going to be after them, the Bad Batch. So that's going to be awesome. And I think Crosshair. Let me get your thoughts on the episode before we get into that. Bad Batch, favorite Bad Batch.
Yeah, I was like blown away by this episode. I went in with honestly pretty high expectations, all things considered. And it still managed to exceed my expectations somehow. I expected it to be the same quality as Clone Wars, of course, in animation, voice acting, everything on a technical level, and then the story as well. I expected it to be, as good, and it was. Like, it was really, really great. And I probably say this is the strongest start to any Star Wars series. As far as just like first episodes, think back to the first episode of Mando season 1, great episode. Think back to the first episode of Clone Wars, maybe not so great, like the very first episode. And then same with Rebels as well. Now you look at this. This is like on the same level of quality as season 7 of Clone Wars, except this is the first episode of season 1 of the Bad Batch. So in that regard, wow, it was a really great episode. Great set of characters. It just kind of improves upon what we already had with the Bad Batch, expands upon it, where we've got that great dynamic between them. Seeing them all bounce off each other in terms of personality, in terms of their abilities in battle, their desirable defects or whatever they want to call them. It's just all around. I enjoy seeing the characters. We get a lot more of them here. I'm excited to see them expand upon in the series. And one of the characters that really surprised me was Omega. Like, I really, really like that character. She just got like very youthful innocence to her. I'm excited to see that character moving forward because she's been kept in Camino her whole life. She doesn't know what the galaxy is like. So, at the end, we see her kind of blast off into hyperspace. And you have that glimmer in her eyes. It's really quite powerful stuff in a way to see someone finally experiencing life. So it's a character I'm genuinely really looking forward to see. As I said, she's got such like an innocence to her. I like the relationship between her and Hunter. It's almost like an older brother, younger sister kind of relationship. It's almost like I was watching Film Stock's video on this episode earlier, and he said it's almost like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like this dysfunctional family in a way, and yeah, that's kind of what it is. And I'm always all for those stories. So if this can deliver, if it keeps up the quality that it is now, I think this could potentially be like the best Star Wars series on like a consistent level.
Yeah, that's a good one because
I know.
Clone Wars season 6, season 5 were great. Was it season?
Even
season 5
was like 5 and 6. Like
It was good.
they have a lot of great arcs in there, but there is still some stuff in there that's not so great. You look at season 7, for example. You have Bad Batch, which
Trace.
I think is like a really solid arc, and then you
Yeah.
have the Martez Sisters, which is bottom of the barrel. I mean, I don't think it's the worst. I don't think it's the absolute worst of Clone Wars because there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
But the general story of it and everything is, as far as like season 7 went, the fact that it was going to be the final season, the fact that there was like so much potential of, which arcs are we going to have here? Because there was all the ones that were like unfinished. Like there's so many better arcs they could have gone with. I understand like from perspective of character with Ahsoka, but for the final season, it was a bit of a lackluster arc. And then season 6, you have the Inhibitor chip arc, which is obviously fantastic. You have the Yoda arc, which is also fantastic. But then you have the arc with Mace Windu and Jar Jar Binks, like not very good.
Yeah.
Season 5, you have Maul on Mandalore, Ahsoka on the run,
Fair one.
and then there's probably some others in there that aren't quite as good. So on a consistent level, I don't think there has. Clone Wars is kind of quite inconsistent. As much as I love the show, and there's like so much that's great about it, it's not all great. And it's same with Rebels as well. Season 1, very watchable season, good in parts, but it felt
Picks
very
up season
kiddie
2.
in a way.
Yeah.
And then picks up season 2, and even then, there's like it's not consistently every single episode great. If this can continue as it is, it might not. I don't know, but hopefully it does. And if it does, then maybe it could be the most consistent Star Wars series.
Yeah, when I was watching Clone Wars when I was a kid, and then I did a whole rewatch of it. I think a couple years ago before Siege of Mandalore, season 7. There is some tough arcs to go through. I remember there's one arc with there was droids and a frog, and I don't know.
I don't mind that arc. That's not the worst. It's it's not the best, but I think there's worse arcs. Anything with Jar Jar Binks is pretty bad in Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, the Jar Jar Binks arcs are pretty bad too, or the more but even with that, you have some amazing stuff like the world building, the characters. Clone Wars was really carried by the lore that they added on to the characters and improving some characters. I'll be honest with you.
I mean,
I'm not
every character.
Yeah,
every character is like better because of the Clone Wars. Anakin. I like him in Revenge of the Sith, but you look at him in Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace. He's pretty bad, and even in Revenge of the Sith to a degree because of I don't want to say the acting. Like the acting is bad, but I think it's more down to direction and writing. Yeah, I watched Revenge of the Sith I think it was last night I watched it, and it has moments of good acting in there. I will say, like kind of the last hour, basically when Anakin turns to the dark side, I think Hayden Christensen really comes into his own playing that character.
Right.
But generally not the best. But you look at him in Clone Wars, like massively expands on the character, like so much better because of Clone Wars, and you understand the turn to the dark side a lot more. And then even touching on Obi-Wan Kenobi, a character that everyone loves. He's always been a pretty great character, but you had a lot of depth to him by making him human with his relationship with Satine, his relationship with Anakin as well, and Ahsoka, and some of the other clones and stuff. Clone Wars just expands on characters a lot, and does just a fantastic job at it.
And it gives us so many good new characters too. Cad Bane is awesome. Improves on awesome other, and then Ahsoka's the biggest one.
Yeah, Ahsoka's like arguably the best written character. Yeah, she's not quite my favorite, purely on nostalgia for characters like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. But I think she's like the best character. Like she goes through such a great arc throughout the show, which isn't even over yet. The character's not dead. There's still more to do with the character. So
that's amazing. But that whole show, and you talk about Ahsoka, she didn't start out as the fan favorite.
Everyone hated her. Like
everyone hated her
across the board. Everyone was like, "This is the most irritating character since Jar Jar." She kind of was like just a whiny teen in a way, but I kind of like that. Yeah. Exactly. They had to found it. They kind of set it up so you initially don't like the character, but it's like now, okay, keep with us here. Watch along, and we'll show you that we can make this character very, very likable, and that's what they did. And that's that's the great thing about there being an original character. Dave Filoni essentially had the opportunity to do whatever he wanted in terms of writing that character. and I think he just did an incredible job with it.
Yeah, Dave Filoni. Anything with Dave Filoni, signed up to it. I'm running towards it. Buy all the tickets. I'm getting all the merch because Dave Filoni, even in here, he's continuing that quality from season 7. Like it still feels cinematic in some ways. I do like some of the shots where it's like it's more like I don't know they're using. I'm not gonna say mocap, but they're using. I feel like more facial impressions, like
Yeah,
more
I know what you mean.
realistic. You know what I'm saying? And there's some shots in here that I like. That I was like, it's like you have a character, and then boom, the back of the character is like blurry. It looks so more cinematic and so crisp with the angles and stuff. The animation's on point.
Yeah.
With this show, and I just think so far, you talk about the Omega character. Not gonna lie to you, little mediocre right now. I'm not totally feeling it. I did feel the ending though when she, you talked about how the light and she was like seeing the world for the first time, and that's what Star Wars is about. It's about inspiring and giving the youth something to hold on to. And
like it is like that in its purest form. Star Wars has always been an escapism. It's always been entertainment.
Yeah.
It's all just been for people to put aside their problems in real life and go on an adventure, be immersed in this world. And when you're viewing it through the eyes of someone who is discovering this world for the first time, it's almost like
amazing.
that. Yeah, it's kind of like an audience surrogate in a way.
Yeah, and so I'm not gonna bash on the character. I know some people would feel like I've seen some people kind of like already bashing it. I feel like I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm giving her a chance.
Yeah,
she didn't ruin the episode.
Exactly, we're in the first episode.
Yeah,
we mentioned Ahsoka right off the bat. She wasn't exactly a good character, but
right.
You give it time. You stick with the character for a while.
There is some potential that she can have some type of connection with this group and humanize this group too, because of course this group, Bad Batch, I do like them, not gonna lie to you, but I feel like they're so what's the word for it? They're so generalized. You know what I'm saying? Like
I know what you mean.
Like Wrecker is just a dumb idiot who fights. Tech is the smart guy who's gonna
they're kind of like their entire like character is based around one trait. They're not like multi-dimensional characters yet. We've got 15 episodes, though, I will say.
Yeah,
so moving forward, I think I think Hunter's probably the more almost fleshed out character here because he feels a lot more human. He's got that empathy towards people. The fact that he did let Kanan go is just a sign that he's not just a soldier that's going to follow orders. He thinks logically what is like the best thing to do here. Not from the perspective of like most strategic or anything, but from the perspective of like I am a person. I am not a droid. I am not programmed, and I will make decisions on my own and all that.
Yeah, that is true. Luke Reviews gonna eventually watch this after I finally watch Clone Wars. Just stopping by. Shout out to Luke Reviews, man. Go ahead and check out his channel. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. Of course, Maniac. By the way, my name is Aaron, but I love it how Matt calls Maniac. Whatever is easier is fine. I think it's Maniac Aaron, whatever comes top of the list. But thanks for that. We could literally see anyone showing up. Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Maul. I have a feeling we will see Moff Gideon and see how he gets the Darksaber. It makes sense since Finnick is in this. Oh yeah, she is in it, huh? Finnick Sham.
Yeah,
forgot about that. Damn, that's gonna be cool. Yeah, that's a good point. Are you feeling Moff Gideon in here, or is it too early?
I wouldn't say it's too early. Well, yes, I would say it's too early thinking about it because we're, when you think Mandalorian takes place after Return of the Jedi, this is literally within Revenge of the Sith. This is 30 years before. It's like what? I seem to think there's like a 4-year period that the original trilogy takes place over. From A New Hope to the end of Return of the Jedi, I think it's about 4 years. So we are like 34 years away from The Mandalorian, at least 34 years. Mandalorian season 2, I think that's like a good 6 months, maybe a year after the first season. So we're essentially like 35 years after, like before The Mandalorian. So I would say probably not. I think down the road we are going to find out how he did get the Darksaber, but I think that'll probably be Mandalorian season 3. It just kind of makes sense. I don't see why you'd need to do it here. there's obviously story to tell with the history behind the Darksaber and stuff moving into season 3. So yeah, it's going to be Mando season 3 if anything.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I mean, yeah, it's a little too early. I feel like they're gonna pull some punches in here. Anyone can make a theory that Ahsoka or this, but we know for sure from the trailers that Fennec Shamp is in here, Captain Rex is in here. So later down the road, we'll see them in this series. And I think 16 episodes is a lot with this group. I feel like I trust Filoni, Dave Filoni, Filoni, developing these characters. Hunter in here, Crosshair. They have the intention, as you mentioned, Hunter. I feel like Echo is kind of he's kind of developed in a way. We've seen him.
I mean, you have like one moment in here. Yeah, you have like that moment where he gets knocked out in the refectory when they're doing the food fight thing, and then he wakes up and he's being looked at by that droid. He has a moment of PTSD then, as if he was being tested on and everything. So I think that we're going to dive into that. It's kind of like Bucky in a way, where he's got like a bit of PTSD of being used for the side of evil and everything. And so I think there's potential for that character. I just hope they can deliver on it. I think they will. Again, we have faith in Dave Filoni. But Dave Filoni is not even he's not massively involved in this series, I don't think. He is involved, he's an executive producer.
Executive producer.
He's not the showrunner, I don't think, in the same way that he was for Clone Wars and Rebels. But based on this episode, I think we can tell that it's that same level of quality,
same feel, same touch.
Which before we actually got trailers and everything, that's what I was worried about when they announced it and said that Dave Filoni wouldn't be running it, but he'd be involved. I just thought, is it going to be not quite as good? Not is it just kind of going to exist and not be on that same level? But based on the trailers, everything we've seen so far from this first episode, it's delivered on it. He's won me over completely.
He's amazing. He's like we talked about before. He's a second coming of George Lucas. He's just brilliant when it comes to stuff. Yeah. He knows how Star Wars works. Of course, the Mandalorian, all that stuff. He's just amazing. He's a fan just like us, and he does a great job with this show. Of course, he's not as you want to say really focused on this show, but he has that touch, the sprinkle, whatever it is. Whoever's taking charge from him, directing it, they know what Filoni wants, and they're delivering on what he wants and what we want. In here, I have a feeling that this will play out until Rebels, and we'll see Ezra at the end, maybe.
Not this season. This season won't. If they do all the seasons, I could see them going right through to them.
I was going to ask you that question. Do you think this will get season 2?
I would say. I think in an interview they said that they have material to do it. It all depends, I guess, on how well the show. Well, I mean, the show's been well received in reviews and that. I checked on IMDb earlier. The first episode got a 9.3. So critically, it's doing very well. I've seen people giving it 4 stars, 5 stars, 4.5 star reviews and stuff. So critically, there's no issues there. It's going to do well. I guess it just depends on viewership if people watch it. And from what I've seen, there's not as many people watching it, which is going to be the case with animated Star Wars. Not everyone's watched the Clone Wars. I've seen 5 people on Twitter say, "Do I need to watch the Clone Wars to watch this show?" And it's why didn't you do this earlier?
Right.
Why didn't you do that? You knew the show has been coming out for a year. Why didn't you watch Clone Wars then? But not up to me what decisions people make. But I don't know how well it's going to do in terms of viewership. As I said, there's not been as many people putting out reviews for the show, just simply because not as many people are watching it as Mandalorian. But Mandalorian and Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, that's a high bar to set in terms of viewership. So I just hope I hope they have can't even speak. I hope they have their expectations in check about how well the show is going to do. But I think it will, again, if it does well, it's going to get a season 2, no doubt. If they probably have material for it, so it's why wouldn't you?
I just kind of hope they we kind of talked about it before off camera. The animation is more niche, doesn't have a lot of weight. Some people might be kind of drawn away from the animation. I'm gonna be personal.
I mean, people lie. It's kind of annoying. How people drawn away from animation, because Star Wars animated content,
It's great.
Some of the best. Like it's
really
fantastic. It's probably the best stuff that's outside of the original trilogy.
Yeah,
It's the best style stuff we've ever gotten. Like it's quality storytelling.
it really is. But I'm not gonna lie to you, animation. I love animation. Don't get me wrong here. Don't twist the words here.
Yeah.
But that live action just hits a little different. Just a little different. You know, it's like this.
It does.
A lot more weight to it. Of course, animation. You know, with the when they're the presentation of the animation has improved. It feels very cinematic now. So that's a great level that they added. But I'm still a live action guy.
Yeah,
not trying
I
to
mean, like if
shout
you
on it.
took like take like the end of Mandalorian season 2 with Luke showing up, like if that was in animation, like sure it'd be cool, but it wouldn't have the same effect as like Mark Hamill showing up. It's not quite got that same weight to it. Or even if you're watching, a live action Star Wars show and Captain Rex, for example, shows up in live action, like that's going to be cooler than him showing up in animation. It's just the way live action works, I guess. Is the fan service hits different, I guess.
Right. It's because you're bringing back that actor and that nostalgia plays in a factor.
Yeah.
And also, too, you kind of want to see how the animation transition to live action. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like with Ahsoka.
With Ahsoka. So, and Bo-Katan. You kind of want to see how that kind of goes from there. And it's interesting. It is interesting. But, yeah, man, I still love animation. Don't get it wrong. But live action is just a little different. Question, favorite member? I got to go with Hunter and Crosshair. Their relationship is very interesting. Especially in this episode, Maniac, their relationship was on point. Favorite member, Ewan?
Ooh, I don't know.
I like them both. I like all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I like all of them. I would probably say Hunter. I think purely because he has the most characterization in this episode. Crosshair is cool as well. I think he definitely lends himself more to being the antagonist now in the show, even before all the Order 66 stuff, because he's very cold. I don't know how much you could develop that character in terms of, diving into, making him a bit more of an empathetic character in a way. I don't know how much you could do that. So I think he fits a villain role very well in the show. I think we are going to get, a bit more characterization of him, because we even have that scene with Omega, almost like sensing his feelings and, saying, I know you don't want to do this. So I think we're going to dive into that. And of course, throughout the show, we're going to dive into the effects of Order 66 on the clone psyche. But, as it stands, I would probably say Hunter is my favorite character. I'm just excited to see them all. I think, by the end of the show, it could be someone completely different. I could hate Hunter by the end of the show. And who knows, like, Tech could be my favorite character. Like, we don't know. We don't know where these characters are going to go because we have nothing to go off. Like, beyond this, we don't know where the... So it's almost a blank canvas for the rights to do whatever they want.
Yeah, pretty much. I got to go with Crosshair. I love Crosshair. He's so slick. When he made that one move, and there was a Bad Batch arc in season 7. It was the putting bouncing off. I remember watching that. I was like, I was freaking out. That was so dope.
And then in this episode as well, like he tells Wrecker to throw his knife and shoots the knife into the... I want to call them prototype Dark Troopers because they do look like Dark Troopers, in a way. So yeah, he's the marksman. He's one of those characters that, as I said, he's very cold and stoic, but he's just cool to watch. Like he's one of those characters you look at and you think that guy's a badass. I like what he does. I don't necessarily connect with him, but he's cool to watch on screen.
No, that is true. He's slick, he's cold, and I think they're gonna develop some stuff. Now you're kind of bringing up the chip and showing his his fears a little bit, his feelings.
They're going to develop him.
They're gonna explore it. I don't think he's gonna be as black and white as some
as
people might think. I think they're gonna do a good job with them. I love all these characters, man. All individually, they're all great. I really like the moment with Wrecker and his little stuffed animal. That was cute. See that because he deep down it feels like he does have a soft heart in there, all about explosive, and he is funny to have that banter with Tech. I love when Tech and Wrecker have these like little moments because one is so smarter and one is so not as
they're doing the hand gestures,
right?
And he doesn't understand.
He doesn't understand it. Just gives him a thumbs up. All that stuff is great. So I love Wrecker, love Tech because he's just so smart. He's kind of in that Bad Batch arc, he was kind of understanding with Captain Rex. Both of them had kind of like an understanding of what's going on in that situation. So I love him too. Hunter, they do some development with him, and then Echo with the nostalgia. So that's a lot of things in here are playing to the favorites with this group. I feel like 16 episodes with this group is gonna be fun because they're so different from the regular clones, the regs. They're just mutated clones. They all have each personality, and I know for sure they will develop that personality more. But yeah, man. Of course, hello there. We got a hello there from Connor. Let me get this booted up.
Hello there.
Hello there to you, Connor. May the 4th be with you as well. Man, just to be in this era of Star Wars where we're in Order 66, the most juiciest part of Star Wars.
I see so many people saying I don't want to spend time in this era anymore. It's like there's so much to explore. Like we have not touched properly on the effects of Order 66. We've seen, like Solo and Rogue One. They don't really explore the Star Wars universe that much. I think the biggest thing we've got in terms of exploring like this era is Jedi Fallen Order, because we touch a bit on Order 66. We get to see that take place. How does it affect the Jedi, and then here we get to see how it affects the clones. So we've seen how it affects the victims. Now we're seeing how it affects like the perpetrators, almost the people that actually committed this crime in the first place. What's the effect on their psyche and everything? It's as long as it delivers on it. Like as I said, like this could be a very, very good show in terms of writing, in terms of character depth. There's a lot of potential. Just to touch on one thing, this is like completely off topic, but who do you think like Omega is? Like, what are your theories on that character? Like, what do you think her like defects are and stuff? And because there's obviously something special about the character. Like, there's when it comes to her.
I don't have one. For some reason, I'm thinking mind powers. For some odd reason, like some. I don't know. I
have a feeling it's like. It seems to be that she's like sensing feelings and stuff. I don't know whether she can mind read, like because she obviously she warns Hunter about Tarkin, and you could say then, oh, she read his mind that we had something planned, but she probably just got more of an aura off of him, like the fact that he's doing something bad. But
reading the room,
I'm actually going to say that I think she's force sensitive. I have this feeling that she is, because the feelings and everything like that, it feels very Jedi-like, and she has that stone thing on her head. This is like completely kind of an out there theory. I am probably completely wrong with this, but I'm going to take a guess and say that stone blocks her force powers. Blocks people from sensing that she is a force sensitive individual. So, obviously Palpatine knew that this is a force sensitive individual, potential to use her. So I think that's why she's got that stone thing, because I think that has some significance.
Right.
I could be completely wrong here, and I could be looking into it in too much depth, but it kind of it makes sense in a way. It'd be cool to see. I think there is something with this character. I just think she's force sensitive. I just have this feeling, like the fact that it can sense people's feelings, and that it's like, why would you have that and not have it be related to the force?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That is a good point. I will for sure clip this. So by the end of the series, if that comes out true, you're gonna be the first one to call out this big prediction like that on the Spoiler Talk show. But that's a good one. I do think they're gonna do something with that character. Force sensitive.
Yeah,
that'll be something though. Like if they because
they can't help themselves with force stuff though. Like you think, oh, this is going to be a series or something that's not going to touch on force stuff, like Mandalorian. Like straight away we just thought, oh, this is going to be diving into Star Wars, Underworld, bounty hunters, no force, no Jedi, no Sith, and then you have Grogu come along, and you have Ahsoka that comes into it. So it's like they can't help themselves when it comes to force stuff. Like there's always got to be some involvement of Sith or Jedi. So that kind of makes sense for this. That's the good linking. It is kind of an out there theory, but I think it's a very possible one. There is weight to it. There is weight to the idea that she could be force sensitive, but who knows?
We're just gonna have to see. But I was gonna ask you this question: do you think with 16 episodes we might get like a we're gonna have arcs. I don't know if they're gonna do the arc stuff or they're just gonna do one arc. But do you feel like it's gonna be mini arcs or no? Just one
Well, I
whole
think
arc.
I think it's all going to like continue off each other because obviously the whole thing with the Clone Wars and the arcs was that you could focus on lots of different characters at different points in time. I assume this is going to be much more like Rebels in the fact that it's it's a continuous story, but obviously with Rebels you do have certain arcs in there. You have like groups of episodes that are telling one almost sub story in a way. I think that's exactly what this is going to do. So. Yeah, for example, when Fennec Shan shows up, she might be there for a couple of episodes, and they might, differ off like the path of whatever their main objective is, because we don't really know what the plot is of the show. Like it seems that they're on the run, so that obviously lends itself to doing kind of whatever you want, I guess, running into lots of different characters, doing various things. There's even a moment in the trailer where I don't know whether you remember the arc, I think season 4 of Clone Wars, or it might be season 3 with the slave owners on that planet.
Don't recall off the top of my head.
Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka. Anyway.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
So there's that. Well, one of those species with like the electric whip thing in the trailer fighting Hunter, and I think it's on the same planet that we see Rex as well. So that might be that might be part of the same thing. So it's just like things like that. Like obviously based on trailers and stuff that we've seen, they are bringing in lots of other characters, so they're obviously setting up lots of different arcs and stuff. So I think yes, there are going to be arcs, but again, I think it's going to be more of that Rebels kind of thing where the main plot is within the background, and then you have going off on different missions and getting sidetracked and stuff.
Yeah, I kind of do hope that it has that Rebels thing where we just follow one arc. Because I feel like it will be a little bit too much if you start exploring different arcs. But we're gonna be following this group.
I think it's got that like single. It's got that like main through line, the main storyline. But it's almost like when you're playing a video game. You've got the main story, and then you have side missions. It's going to be like that, I think. So you'll have the side missions, but the main plot is still going on within the background, and we're always furthering it in some way. Yeah, because obviously we're always going to have like Crosshair and his new group, I think called like Elite Squad or something. They're obviously always going to be catching up to them, always following them. So you're going to have that there. It's kind of like I think in season 2, Rebels. It might have been both season 1 and 2, to be honest. You always have the Inquisitors after them.
Oh yeah.
Even season 3, you've always got Thrawn there as well. You've constantly got that looming threat. You've constantly got that main plot that's always there, but it's maybe not always at the forefront. So I think that's kind of what they're going for, I guess.
Yeah, that is true. Just got Connor. Just need to get rid of the new trilogy and had Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau do it.
Just leave it.
Just leave it.
Let's just make what you can with it. You could have said that with the prequels. Like when they came out, they're not the best films ever.
Right.
But if it wasn't for those, we wouldn't have Clone Wars, which just improves that era. So don't forget that the sequels exist. Let's actually do something with the material that's there.
Yeah, there's always chance to.
Let's get like a Disney Plus series with Rey and Finn. Like, come on. The potential's there. Like you take that and you do something with it rather than forgetting it exists, like they did with the prequels for so long. With Disney. They wanted to forget the prequels existed because fans didn't like it. So we go right back to the original trilogy and we just play off nostalgia. But now they're warming up to the prequels a bit more. We're getting like Ahsoka in here. We're getting stuff from Rebels. We get stuff from Clone Wars. Bringing in more to Solo and things like that. Try to use what's there, even if it's not great. You can do stuff with it, expand upon it, and you can improve that stuff that already exists, like Clone Wars and the prequels. So, I always think that you can do stuff with bad stuff.
That is true. There is some potential. Like when I was watching a sequel trilogy, it kind of lost me. I'm not gonna lie to you, but there is a lot of good stuff in there, especially when they set up Force Awakens.
Like Finn
has
so good as a character.
Yeah, man.
But they just dropped the ball. But you still can do stuff with him. Like now.
Yeah.
you can do the arc that almost he should have had right from the start, where he is a force-sensitive individual, which I think originally in JJ's plan, that was going to be revealed in Last Jedi. Then in Rise of Skywalker,
Right.
you'd have him be more of a Jedi. Like, you now have the chance to do that. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know whether they've like burnt all the bridges with the sequel cast though, because I don't know what the terms, how, I don't know if they're on good terms with like
I
John
don't think
Boyega and Oscar Isaac, but Oscar Isaac, I don't think you need to bring Poe Dameron back. There's stuff
Yeah.
you can do with the character, but you don't need to. But like, you bring Daisy Ridley and John Boyega back, do a Disney Plus series, set the next trilogy around them. I don't know, whatever.
You can
do some good stuff with them.
That's a good point, man. You can really do a lot with those characters. But I come to terms that the sequel trilogy is a thing, but that doesn't mean it's.
Yeah.
I think later down the road it's gonna have the prequel effect. A lot of people who are growing up
Oh,
now watch the
Absolutely.
movies. They're gonna love those. There's a lot of people who love the Last Jedi. When the Last Jedi came out, everyone hated
so
it.
many people. Yeah, I mean, loads of people have been posting like their Star Wars rankings on Twitter today from Letterboxd. I'm seeing a lot of people with Last Jedi in top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw someone with A New Hope at number 10, and I was just like, I can't take your opinion seriously. Like,
Right.
I'm sorry, but if you put A New Hope like third to bottom, no.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing like loads of people Last Jedi,
Right.
top 2, top 5. Loads of people really love it, and I think it's very much a film Twitter thing because it is a well-made film.
Right.
And
Film
I think
quality.
that's the film quality, and people like to talk about the visuals of it, and great storytelling and symbolism and all that, which I'm not always looking for in Star Wars. I mean, I enjoy The Last Jedi. I think it's good. It's flawed. It has quite a lot of flaws, really, but generally, I would say it's probably more good than bad. But I think it's a solid film. Not my favorite.
Mediocre, above mediocre.
I would say it's good. So like above average, but it's not great. It's not amazing. For me, I'd probably say it's like 7 on my ranking. And I kind of enjoy every single Star Wars film, even Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace. They're not good films. I enjoy elements of them, and you're probably exactly the same. I don't know what you are like with Rise of Skywalker, but I can just watch Star Wars. I like being in the world, regardless of how it is. It's like you watch it and it's like it's Star Wars. I just enjoy watching. Like even Rise of Skywalker, which is not a great film. I think there's entertainment to be had, and I'd probably rather watch that than some more indie film like Citizen Kane, for example, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't like the Star Wars is Star Wars, but it's entertainment. We grew up on these characters. Marvel, DC, even the bad ones. I was still.
It's like even with the MCU as well. Like
I'll still take a look at some of them.
Most of those films.
Yeah.
I could watch like pretty much any MCU film.
Yeah.
There's certain ones I don't really like, but I don't think there's any that's absolutely terrible and unwatchable. They're all watchable and enjoyable to some degree.
Yeah. Some are better than others, but going on that point, going all the way back to the Order 66 point, love this era. When I was a kid, I always kind of told myself, watching Revenge of the Sith, what the hell happened between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope? Like, how did the clones react? Who are the Jedis remaining? Like, what was going on around that era? And now we're getting that stuff. And especially here, I love seeing the clones, how they're kind of more aggressive now. They're more, meaner. They're just not the clones that, I know there is some clones that they did have a mind for themselves. Clone Wars did a good job exploring on that. Some like more Jedi commanders more than others. But this one, they're just completely rogue. They're just completely bad on the dark side. And of course, getting much as Ian McDiarmid's Emperor Palpatine is always a blessing, man. He's always great.
His line delivery is like so good.
It's just so good. Like I just love it, man. Even like he's just a beast.
Even the Darth Plagueis speech, like that has been mean to hell.
Yeah,
but he delivers that speech really well. Like you watch it, it's really engaging to hear him like deliver that monologue.
Dare I say he is the best Star Wars actor, Ian McDiarmid?
No. I mean, maybe in the prequels, yes, but like overall, no.
Han Solo's.
I don't think so.
Harrison Ford is up there.
Oh yeah, I mean, but Harrison Ford just plays himself playing Han
But
Solo.
he's so good
like,
at it.
It works, but he is kind of like that. It's like Dwayne Johnson. You know, you watch him, he plays himself very well, but he's always just playing himself, and it's not always the worst thing. You know, as long as you are giving an enjoyable performance. But I'd probably say like Mark Hamill in Last Jedi is like one of the better Star Wars
He
performances.
was good in that. Yeah.
He's really good in that film. Even despite his opinion on the material, he still gives it his all with check and respect.
He went hard on that. I never had a problem with the acting when it came to the sequels. Daisy Ridley, John Boyega,
Adam Driver. Adam Driver's
oh my
fantastic.
God, they're so good. They're so on point with those movies. You know, it's just more of the material they got, but the acting was never a problem. So, overall, love the acting.
I'd probably say the sequel trilogy has the best acting.
I would say that
because,
too. Yeah.
The prequels, obviously we all know that's the whole reason people generally don't like them, because it doesn't have very good acting. And then the original trilogy, it's great and all, but because of the time, you look back at it now, like,
David,
I still love it, but it feels like acting from the 70s and acting from the 80s.
Right.
It's not quite got the level of like character depth that people add to the characters nowadays.
But I agree on that. The sequel stuff, and then even the Mandalorian. Pedro Pascal. He was amazing as the Mandalorian. He does a great job, especially with that final episode, showing that facial expression. He went hard on that. So and then Moff Gideon. Even though I feel like the Moff Gideon character is a little lackluster, there's still stuff to.
I think it's underutilized, but
underutilized.
You have Giancarlo Esposito. He's just like one of the best villain performers nowadays, I think. So you really can't go wrong with the acting there. And then you touched on Pedro Pascal. Like, he has a lot to do in that show purely on voice. Like, he portrays so much emotion with his voice. Like, aside from when you do see him take off the helmet, which is very rarely, everything about that character lies on the voice. And the fact that people really love the character shows how good Pedro Pascal does. Yeah.
It just, it's kind of tough staring at a puppet and crying and touching your face. That's some tough acting to do. That is some tough. So got to give appreciation for the acting. The voice acting here is also good too from the Clone Wars. It's always been on point. Connor, when is the next episode releasing? Friday. Oh, Thursday night, midnight. That's what a lot of fans are watching. Of course, I have reactions on it, so I'm dropping it right as soon as it drops. But of course, we'll be doing Friday shows, so that'll be awesome. I don't want to see Mary Sue again. Ooh, Connor got some ammo on. I think I guess you wanted to say Ray.
Well,
that's right. Yeah.
You see, if she could not be Mary Sue, if you do see her again now, because she could be developed into a better character. That's what I was thinking. Like,
I want to see Dave Filoni handle it. Yeah, I want to see Dave Filoni handle those characters. Oh man, he would do a bingo job.
That would be so good. Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau doing their trilogy sequel. Love it.
That would be awesome
to see it.
Yeah, man. So Connor still have some, I want to say hope. Still have some hope on the sequels. They could do some stuff in there. Maniac, Matt, this is totally off topic, but have you seen Cobra Kai season 3 yet? Are you going to do review with Talking Cobra Kai? Yes, I will be doing a review with him. Shout out to Talking Cobra Kai. Maybe we could get you Maniac in there, Shamoon, the Cobra Kai fan base. But I am right now in kind of watching it, but I'm watching some other stuff right now, so it's gonna take some time, and it's gonna delay it. Like some.
Have you seen the first two seasons? Have you seen the first two seasons?
Got the first two seasons.
What do you think of the season 2 finale?
It's freaking awesome. That high school fight is so amazing.
Crazy stuff.
Like holy crap! Like oh my god!
How do you do that? Like how do you come to? How do you just like? I don't know how they manage. Yeah, how the hell did they manage to make stuff work? Like in concept, that is so incredibly cheesy and should not work. But they pulled it off and made it like so badass.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
Talk about the high school fight real quick. it was like right beginning of the episode. It wasn't no climax. It was like right
I know, it was
right
the
in the
whole
middle of the
episode.
episode. It was the whole
Yeah.
episode, and then you got that whole character moments that were really powerful.
Mhm.
Like wow. So that was awesome.
I don't know whether you have spoilers for season 3. I don't know whether you've been spoiled on it at all. No,
not
okay.
yet.
Well, this is not like a direct spoiler, but there is another fight like that. It's got like the same vibe towards the end of season 3. That's also like so crazy, but it's like really good as well.
Is it the same kind of level as the high school fight? High school fight. I don't know, man.
Yes, I think so.
Wow.
I would. The high school fight's maybe just a little bit better, just purely because you have like so many characters. There's not quite as many characters in this fight, but it's still like the location and just like the fact that this is happening. You're like, what the hell? But it's like so cool to watch, and then the music as well. Like, wow, the score is so good in that show. It's a show that shouldn't work, but somehow it does. It has that Clone Wars effect where it just improves stuff that's come before it.
Right.
Yeah, Cobra Kai's fantastic, but this is not a Cobra Kai talk.
And
anyway,
yeah, you got Maniacs. I got you guys talking about Cobra Kai now. Sorry, no man. Look at
no problem.
Basic Entertainment.
I don't talk about Cobra Kai all that much.
Yeah,
so I like talking about it.
Yeah, and you guys can check out his review on the channel, of course, link in the description. But on season 3, but Basic Entertainment is all about nerdy stuff. Fuck, listen, you want to talk some Marvel? We'll talk some Marvel. You want to talk some DC? Let's talk some DC. But yeah, man. Always allow the nerdy stuff in here. Embrace your nerdiness, and Cobra Kai is part of that. Ian McDermott actually lives outside my city. That's pretty awesome. That's cool. Connor, do you live in the States or UK or Canada? I think Canada. No, probably Canada.
I don't need. Is Ian McDermott
British?
I don't know.
A lot of actors are British.
Villain actors, especially. Yeah, like it's a typecast thing.
But they're so good at it. They're so good at it.
Yeah.
I live in Scotland. Oh, he's just...
Yeah,
okay.
That actually makes sense. Like the name does sound, especially the surname anyway, does sound like a Scottish surname. So
right.
Yeah.
Man,
I know he tends to do like a lot of cons in the UK that I've seen. Like I'm sure he's been to London Comic Con like a bunch of times. I love to meet him, to be honest.
Maniac. I'm in England. That's awesome. We got I love that we're outside the States. More people worldwide watching us. Shout out to you guys. I live in a village. He lives in a village in the Shire apparently. Shrine apparently. Okay.
I think the Shire. I'm sure that's Hobbit, like Hobbit, Lord of the Rings.
Right.
No, I'm not kidding. Like it exists. Like I'm pretty sure it's in Scotland as well, or somewhere in the UK.
The Hobbit franchise, Lord of the Rings, is kind of based off that. Is it Gandalf over there too?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, Ian McKellen is British, so yeah, technically.
Yeah, man. But we're gonna get into our highlight moment. So highlight moment of episode 1.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, you have Order 66. You have like Crosshair betraying. It's difficult. The training simulation as well. Great to see the Bad Batch in action. I'd say Order 66 probably has to be it. Like that is a fantastic opening to the show. It has like the, kind of pulls no punches in, just like right off the bat. Like here's a tragic moment in the show. But I also really like the ending. The ending where they're setting off, going to explore a galaxy. That moment with Omega, as I said. And so, I think purely for like a small moment, for a big moment, Order 66. I mean, it's hard not to go with that.
Yeah, that opening was awesome. Kicked it off right there. Do the recap. They were showing Revenge of the Sith stuff, animation.
Oh yeah, you had
dude, that was awesome.
You had Grievous, didn't you? Like jumping in the escape pod. Time to abandon ship.
I just love that we're talking about Tech was talking about Grievous and Obi-Wan are having that battle on that planet. He just took them
Oh
out.
yeah, like
They're like right
yeah,
there.
he said like Obi-Wan's intercepted Grievous on the Utapau system.
Yeah. So this whole
Yeah.
timeline connection, the connecting the dots, connecting cinematic, the universe building and all that stuff is so awesome. So yeah, man. But that's a highlight. But I'm gonna go with that one moment when you got Hunter, or not Hunter, but Crosshair, the knife. That was freaking epic.
Oh, yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Crosshair. I think that was kind of, I don't want to say better, but that was more intense going against you want to say prototype, the Dark Troopers.
Dark Troopers. Yeah.
So that was awesome. I think that's my highlight moment of this episode. There's a lot more in there,
Just,
of course.
just that whole training sequence.
That was awesome.
The simulation thing. Yeah.
Because they were really vulnerable once the Dark Trooper came in there. They were kind of
yeah, they were using live rounds. They only had training weapons.
Yeah. And they kind of Tarkin, who's
it shows how well they adapt to the situation and everything.
Yeah, they adapted pretty well, and this whole team adapts in fun, unique ways, and cool ways when they come together and have to take off some Dark Troopers. So all that stuff was on point. But of course, as spoiler talks, we got to get our final grades. Ewan, you want to kick it off with the final grade of episode 1?
Oh, it's difficult. I kind of want to go A+, but I don't know whether it's quite A+. I don't have any issues with it per se.
Right.
I think I'm gonna have to go A. A+. I think it's just that it's not quite there, but A is still a fantastic grade nonetheless.
So A from Ewan. Here we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, this episode kicked off in high gears. A lot of expanding from what we got from season 7. I'm all for this, man. Stuff like this is awesome. Star Wars content on Star Wars Day. Who could have asked better stuff to talk about Star Wars on the day, May the 4th? This episode was awesome. Loved it. There's a lot of potential for this show, and they're kicking it off, with this group having some interesting stuff going on. Crosshair, Hunter, that relationship, how it builds, and of course, I trust Filoni. I trust them and Lucasfilms that they're going to do a bang-up job with this show, and the venture is promising. This was a great way to hook us. Order 66. What else can you get, man? I'm gonna go, but I will go an A- for this episode. A lot of high praise for A-. Yeah, I'm gonna watch the episode again, but I do feel like Omega was kind of a little forced in writing just a little bit. But yeah, man.
I will say it's sort of very, very minor issue, but I think the opening Order 66 bit maybe dragged on a little bit too long. I don't think it needed to be quite as long as it was, but I still very much enjoyed it. I was never bored, but I just think if I was to say any issue with the episode, it was that you could have trimmed a little bit off, maybe just 5 minutes. You could have cut out of the episode, and it would have still been exactly the same. But yeah, as I said, A is a very, very good grade. It's a damn good episode, and I'm so pumped.
I'm hooked.
Moving forward.
I'm freaking hooked, man. This show's gonna be awesome.
So good.
I think it could be the best. It has the potential for the best Clone Wars types.
I mean, I think it could be better than Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Mandalorian. Mandalorian is great, but again, we are one episode out of 16. It's so difficult to tell this time, but I think if it keeps up the quality, it could. It could. But as we have seen with the animated shows, they're not always consistent. On a technical level they are, but maybe not on story and overall plot.
That is true. So of course, if we're let down by episode 16, you're gonna probably see a rant in here. If we're really let down, because this was a great way to start out the show. So yeah, man, Ewan from mChat, of course, plug in your channel.
Yes, you can find me at mChat on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, just about any social media that exists. I will have Bad Batch reviews every single week, and of course on Friday as well when this next episode comes out. They will be spoiler-filled, small recaps, overall thoughts on the episode, stuff that you'll probably hear in here, but if you want to see it in a more concise, 7-minute, 5 to 10 minute video, then of course you can find it there. And then over on Twitch as well, you can find me at mplay goes live. I've not streamed in like 2 weeks, but I was thinking of streaming today. I just haven't found time. I wanted to do some, play some Battlefront 2 or something. So maybe later in the week, I'll stream some Star Wars stuff. But yeah, aside from that, I can't wait to be back on here. Matt, thanks once again for having me on to be co-host. Just excited to talk Bad Batch, excited to talk more Star Wars. And of course, just excited for the series moving forward as well.
Of course, man. Of course, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but got some air blowing out there, people working out. So please excuse that. But yeah, man,
That's
of course,
right.
you guys can follow me. Shout out to Ewan, man. This is going to be fun. I cannot wait. Of course, we'll bring in some special guests, some other YouTubers. You probably have
it's hard to get people that actually have seen the animated shows and watch Bad Batch, especially for 16 episodes as well. Like, with the MCU shows and Mandalorian, that was like 6 to 8 episode ones.
Right.
WandaVision, obviously 9. This is like double the length of that. So trying to find people, not always the easiest, but we will have other people on at some point.
We will. And of course, we're always going to have you guys, man. Maniac, Connor, Luke, you guys are freaking awesome. This was fun to watch. Thank you guys. See you on the next one. Keep up the great work. Comments like that is amazing.
Thanks for coming by. Yeah.
It makes me motivated to keep on doing it.
Exactly. Like, there would be no point in us doing this if no one was watching. So it's just nice to see that people are watching, people are enjoying it. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming by.
And this is my passion. Of course, Ewan. We love Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars is like it's my favorite thing, like, in existence. Not even just entertainment, just as an entity. And, I love Star Wars more than life itself. Simple.
I gotta agree too, man. I might go ahead and hopefully you guys enjoy your May the 4th. Gonna go check out some Star Wars movies, some of my favorites, some of my family's favorites.
Yeah,
of course.
I mean, I'm going straight to watch Return of the Jedi after this.
Yeah, me too.
Great film.
Going Return, going Empire, maybe tonight. So that's gonna be fun. Of course.
Are you doing them in reverse? Return, then Empire, then New Hope.
I think I'm gonna go favorites.
Okay. Is Return your favorite then?
I think Return is my favorite.
That's fair. Empire's mine. Return's probably third for me. Just purely because I think it's a bit more flawed. But third act just makes up the whole film like so freaking good.
Wait, hold on. How do you feel about Ewoks?
I'm fine with them. They're all right. I don't hate them. I don't love them. I just think they're there. They don't bother me. They're fine. But third act's Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader with the Emperor. Oh, so good. That is like the pinnacle of styles for me. Is that third act? I love Empire as a whole film more, but Return of the Jedi's third act is just phenomenal. So good. Just think about it now. I just want to watch it.
I'm gonna go ahead and check that out. Ewoks, no one supporter, man. Love those little teddy bears, little killer teddy bears.
Ewoks for Bad Batch. Let's get him in there.
Who do you think will win in that match? Before we get out of here.
Ooh.
Ewoks are
it depends.
Don't be fooled.
I know. It depends how many Ewoks you have. If you have like a massive army of them, they probably would win, just purely on the fact that they would overwhelm the Bad Batch. But if we'll go the Batman route and say with prep time, the Bad Batch will win. I don't know.
That is a good point, man. But man, love Star Wars. Of course, may the Force be with you guys. Have a great day. Shout out to you, Win. See you guys very soon. Stay positive. We out.